Hey there, Dream Chasers. This is Hannah Pride, and welcome to Pride and Shine, the podcast where we explore the innovators and influencers of Dubai. Proudly sponsored by Pride Migration, your dedicated partner to make Dubai your reality. Welcome to the show, Stuart.
Yeah, hello, you right? Been a long time coming, eh?
I know, bloody hell, I've been chasing you for weeks. So for everyone that doesn't know, Stuart is the founder and co-owner? Is it
No, sole owner of my UAE one. Yeah, it's just me, mate.
It's just you?
Yeah,
Jesus, you've done the big expansion of Redbondco Accounts. And it was originally founded in the UK and you've expanded it to Dubai. Yeah. And for anyone that doesn't know, it's a huge thing to do, and you've gone through the bloody works.
It ain't easy, trust me.
I met Stuart 2 years ago when you started.
I'd say about 2 years ago.
It was
not long after I got it. I hadn't been here long. Yeah.
And the business has bloody flourished in Dubai. You've absolutely scaled it.
Yeah. Luck, maybe, I don't know, or talent, I'm not sure, a thin line in between.
Bit of both, isn't it? I mean, you came at the perfect time because now who isn't moving to Dubai? And I mean, I think myself and every single person that knows you just transfers you across clients because you are the king of accounts, especially for anyone moving across.
Yeah, I think everyone does, but obviously you've given me loads, so thanks for that firstly, But yeah, I think a lot of people introduced me, but, obviously I'm super grateful of that, and it's probably all the beers I buy when we're out and about, so I've got no option, have I?
If you're ever looking for Stuart, just go to the pub. But so I want to dive into why did you end up moving? What made you leave the UK and be like, right, Dubai is where I'm going to go and find out, everyone needs an accountant, but you came at the right time because corporation tax got introduced, but what made you do the jump?
I mean, it weren't actually my main driver, if I'm being honest. I didn't 100% make up my mind I was going to have a UAE firm. And it was also due to the fact it wasn't even necessarily possible. Yeah. You had to find an Emirati to back you, and you've got to use an Emirati's audit license, and it's like finding a needle in a haystack. But it was, my main reason I think it was after COVID. Yeah. I'd spent a lot of time here, saw my kids thrive. I taught my kids, my twins, my youngest two, my twins to swim here in Dubai when they were 3, and I just thought, if we'd been in England, that wouldn't have happened, And I said to my wife, I was like, on the plane on the way back, there's no way we can live in England no more. And she was like, well, if you think it's doable with your UK businesses, I said, well, look, what's the worst we can lose? Let's give it a go. And the rest is history, I guess.
Do you know, I think everyone finds that addictiveness when they come for a holiday. I think at the start, maybe years ago, people were a bit pessimistic would be the word. When they came here, they didn't really know what it was like. They'd heard all these, not horror stories, but he said, she said stories.
You can't walk down the street with your own. They said you can't have your arms out. But that's changing over time. But I mean, it still has that stigmatism though. People still say to me now, so you can actually do that. You're like, trust me, you can within reason do what you want really, as long as you're polite and respectful about the way you go about it. It's the way I see it,
And the thing is, with how much it's changed in the last 4 years and how many people are moving over here, you can see why, and you can see the pull. People get to spend more time in the sun, and overall that just makes them happy.
Of course.
It's a fundamental.
That's all it is about, actually. Let's be clear, right?
It's nothing else.
There's nothing else.
But obviously, you came at quite an interesting point because Dubai had just started to say that they were going to introduce corporation tax in the June. So how did you find moving from the UK, where everyone's taxed on absolute everything, to a country that was seen as tax-free? Dubai, let's be serious, isn't tax-free. You've got all these hidden taxes.
Oh, yeah, of course, and you know better than anyone on that side of things.
But how did you find the transition? You moved in the January, corporation tax was coming in the June. What put you ahead of the times to be like, right, guys, obviously everyone wanted an English face and someone to speak to, but how did you find learning the rules basically on behalf of everyone else? I
mean, I think, look, if I learned the UK tax system, doing the UAE one's going to be easy within reason, and it's more serious. There are complications in some ways, but there's less taxes to be mindful of. You've got corp tax and VAT, whereas in England there's plenty of other things you need to be mindful of. But obviously, when I just get my head down and I'll just go and learn it, you just got, once you know it, and then you can roll that out, And
what do you think, from doing both UK tax and Dubai tax, are people earning more in Dubai, or do you think the expenses of living in Dubai equal it out?
I think people generally are earning more.
Yeah.
As a genuine rule, I honestly think if you're not careful, I thought, ignore Redbondco, I thought with my money that I would have earned from my UK accountancy firm and my other businesses, I just thought I'd be walking off into the sunset. You know, like,
See ya.
I'm going to save so much money.
Yeah.
But then I just also think you just spend so much money. So, but then who cares, right? Even if it netted off, does it? Or even if I was worse off. Look at the quality of life that we're all having and our families are having, you know, so who cares, eh?
And I think that's the thing, in Dubai you very much accumulate to spend more money and make more clients, but in the UK the weather isn't always as good and there isn't actually as many activities what you can do with the family or things to do at the weekend. So people are like, oh, Dubai is so expensive, but in reality think of all the stuff that we do every single day that you just wouldn't do in the UK.
No, it used to be a treat, but now it's just a noise. It's an expectation. My kids go to me, what? We've only been to Bounce and Aqua Adventure. I mean, is that it? Like, what are we doing next? Are you actually crazy? Do you
But back in the UK, it'd be like, oh, there's one kid's birthday party, or it's summer holidays, you can do it. Here, it's all the time.
Yeah, it's just constant. But look, happy days though. You know, you just got to work hard.
Exactly. But do you know what? I was having a conversation this morning about this. You actually work a lot harder because you want to have a better quality of life, and you're living and you're more present because there's so much to do. Whereas you're not just looking forward to the weekend, those 2 days off. You're actually fitting in as much as possible. And in
you don't want to waste the opportunity, do you? You know, because you know life can be short. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you've got to live every day for what you can, right? You know,
100%. But do you know what? At the end of the day, I think your outcome of work is a lot better because you're happier and you've got more stuff that there's more present time of yourself and you want to be a better person. So overall happiness is better. It's interesting. So tell me, when you set up your businesses, what was like your biggest difference from the UK to doing accounts over here?
Obviously, I didn't know what a trade license was, so that was we start there. Nor an Emirates ID or whatever it is.
I don't think many people do. They're like, everyone's moving to Dubai. I'm sure I can do it.
I didn't even know what the Federal Tax Authority was, so obviously that's a bit of a concern. You know, obviously I know. You know, obviously I know that. Obviously I know them too well now. Obviously, you know, but yeah, it's just things that. England isn't necessarily the easiest place, and obviously HMRC certainly aren't the easiest to deal with. But there are things, though, there's more structure to it because it's been around. HMRC's been around for many, many times, whereas the FTA is going to be reasonably new in its own right. So to think a simple corp tax registration in England just happens without you doing anything here, it has human input and and things bounce back. You know, it's just learning. It was new to me. It'd be new to any other accountant within reason in the UAE, you know. So it's just learning. You have to evolve, and they're going to evolve, and you just got to move with the times, you know.
Do you know what? It's been really interesting, and I think people at the start were like, "Oh, we don't want any taxes," but if you look at how much Dubai's actually benefited, we've now just had JP Morgan sign and everything, and that's obviously because corporation tax is coming in, and businesses now in Dubai are becoming a lot more legitimate. So I'm just being reasonable, it'll be much easier to sell a business now in Dubai because there's taxes that you can look at, there's accounts, and they're all
also
legit.
Imagine that trying to sell a business that's been going 6 years. Can I see your accounts? I don't have any.
Yeah, no,
do you know what I mean? It creates structure, doesn't it? And I don't think that's a bad thing. If you want a business, you want to run a bona fide business, whether someone's telling you to do accounts or not. Me personally, of course, I wouldn't have a job if people didn't. But you'd want to know how you would do it. And if you're not creating something to look at, you don't know. I mean, your bank balance is a good indication. If it's going like that, you're doing all right, I guess.
That's all you want. 100%.
That's what we need.
And how have you found the transition period in the last 2 years? Obviously, you've now been here. You've got a business that you'd say, I guess, it's a little bit more mature now. How are you finding the operation and running of it? What's the highs and lows?
I think, obviously, I've had to annoyingly sacrifice a bit more family time than I'd have liked, because obviously I've probably now got 2 full-time jobs rather than 1, which don't help when you want to try and spend time with your wife and your kids, and also your mates, and also have a bit of you time. I've given up a bit of me time, as you can tell by the way. But obviously, it's going to only be for a short term, and then obviously, once I get more and more structures in place, I can get my life back a bit more, But no, I feel like we're settled, Obviously, it isn't something, and that's one thing I think you say to people all the time, and I say to people, like, obviously I speak to new businesses and people that have been here, like, not long, day in, day out. look, trust me, I feel like when I was here for about 2 months, I was thinking, have I made the right decision? Because a lot of money's going out and not that much money more's coming in, you know?
It's terrifying though. It's like you're on a hamster wheel or you're in the sea like gasping for air. And a lot of people shit themselves because social media, they see their friends and they're like, oh, everyone's living the high life. But every single person that moves here, whether you're a single, whether you've got an established business back home, you have to go about 4 or 5, even 10 steps back because there's so much money up front that people completely forget about.
No, even it's like you think to yourself like about a motor.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I've told myself, well, I want that car, and I've made up my mind. But then when I was like, well, why on earth did you think it was getting financed? You've only been you're fresh off the plane. I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. Well, I'm still getting that car, but I'm going to have to pay for the thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's just, you're hemorrhaging money left, right and centre. That's the problem, you know.
And I think people also forget in Dubai that you're paying your checks for rent. One month is like unheard of. It's like 3 months in advance. That's a good
That's
rate.
all. You've even jackpot. I thought it was even jackpot if you had 2. I've only ever had, when obviously I'm not living where I'm living at the moment, but my first 2 years in a villa, I got hit with 1 check on both of them. Weren't even an option. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's. Begrudge. There's no way that you can't not begrudge paying that. I don't. Even if it's the sickest villa in the world, you're not cool with banging that in 1 check. I'm telling you.
Honestly, people cry, and do you know what? It's actually crazy. Even we're having a laugh about it now, but no one thinks about the small things. All they think is the bigger picture, moving to Dubai, and then that's the thing. These small things are usually what breaks the camel back when they're like, "I'm done."
It's tunnel vision, isn't it? Yeah. You're like, I'm moving to Dubai, and people don't actually think of it. It's you've made up their mind because they want what they see, like you said on Instagram. You know, but like I said, if you was to consider all the factors you need to consider, people would, not saying they wouldn't do it, of course you still would, you'd be crazy not to, right? But you'd still be thinking, you would still maybe plan more or have some more reservations or try and have be a bit more
careful and structured.
I mean,
I now know with any meetings that I sit with any of my clients, I break it all down to them because I'm like, I feel much better because we actually looked at our business and this is interesting, but the amount of people that we had helped set up, get their visas, family move over, anyone with a family had actually moved back home because they had said they didn't realise the schoolings were starting at £20,000. They didn't realise the housing was 1 or 2 checks. And after I obviously keep in touch with all my clients because it's a boutique company, but after I heard that, I was like, well, I'm not doing my clients an injustice for not telling them and just giving them an outline, being like, we would love you to come and we will be a great opportunity, but let's highlight the elephant in the room, which in the past I didn't even think to do because we hadn't realised it was such a big effect because everyone seems to do it. And it's crazy.
School fees are the one, I to be fair, I didn't get involved in it, you know, but the way I didn't stress about it because it is what it is, isn't it, at the end of the day? But it was only when I didn't get involved and I was thinking, I wish I had got involved. I bet I could have found a school that was nearly as good, or hopefully quite as good as this, but probably half the price. Do you know what I mean? It's literally every time I feel like I've just paid 1 term's fees. I feel like I look in my inbox 2 days later and I got another one. I was thinking, it can't have been 3 months. You can't want more dough from me, surely, already. But my kids, to me, one thing, though, is I don't like, they said, 20,000 quid, whatever it is. I've got 3 kids, 60k a year. It's heavy, in my opinion.
It is heavy.
But they like going to school now. They did it in England, and I feel like they're thriving at school. So I then think, do you know what? Fuck it, it's worth it.
So much worth it. And do you know the thing that I didn't realise, and I've had clients tell me that there's such a waiting list now for the schools, it's a huge waiting list. But I didn't realise how many activities they get and how much outdoor learning. Whereas I think the UK don't do as much outdoor and sports and everything.
Sure not. No.
But they don't have the weather for it.
No, true that. But even just kids swimming at school. I mean, I would obviously, actually, to be fair, my kids in the UK actually had a pool at their school. I certainly didn't have one at mine, I can tell you that.
We had one, but I know my little sister's primary, they didn't have one. They'd have to go out. And honestly, I think it helps the kids. There's so much learning to these outdoor activities, farming and everything. Like, I seen on someone's Instagram the other day, their baby nursery was in Domino's pizzas making Domino's. I was like, that's class.
Fair play.
Genuinely, I was like, you wouldn't get that in the UK. They'd be like, sorry, hygiene's not allowed. You don't get it. Still to be learned in Dubai. But how have your kids found the transition? That's actually a really interesting topic.
I mean, I feel like I've actually, considering I've only been here 2 years, then going back to what we said, I've seen a lot of people actually come and go. Because when you think about it, I've seen it happen so much, you know, but I feel like it's consistent. I think all of them have the same problems. Do you see what I mean? Obviously, but I try and obviously, like you said, I'm one of the first people, luckily, they contact. So I try and say to them, look, I know this is nothing to do with accountancy, you know, but these are the things that I think you're probably going to face. Like I said, look, I'm just trying to give you a push in the right direction because these are things that sort of screwed me over a little bit myself. Do you know what I mean? But I think, but when you speak to them though, you can tell they all know it's the right move, and it 100% will be. And like you said, I just think, I see so many of them though, to be fair. It's nice to see, just smashing it. But I do 10 meetings a day to my UK clients because I've got a lot in the UK. Like, it's just, them conversations could easily, if I weren't trying to be so positive about life, could bring me down. It's just negative every conversation. It's just a shit conversation every time. But at least when I talk to the UE ones, they might be a little bit nervous or it might be a bit daunting, but it's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I just signed up this client, I'm smashing this, I'm smashing, you know, it's positive though. And that's,
and you know, the interesting thing, and I think this is such a big thing, and I say it to everyone, if you can come here and not get caught up in the partying, not get caught up in trying to be like everyone else, and put your head down for a solid 18 months, minimum 6 months, but a solid 18 months, you'll be absolutely fine. It's if you're like trying to run before you can walk. And with Dubai, it's like, how do you eat an elephant? A little bit of a time. Just take it, get to know people. There's no reason to be flash. Just do what you're doing. And the reputation, because Dubai is so small, it'll go such a far
People
way.
think it ain't small, don't they? It's small. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I feel like I'm reasonably fresh off the plane, but I just know wherever I go, I know the majority of people. It's insane.
It's
do you know
crazy,
what I mean?
isn't
Mad.
it?
You know
it's
what I mean?
like Little Britain. Philly, like you
just in the sun.
Genuinely, everyone you go, everyone's like, how do you know everyone? I'm like, I've been here 4 years, and the industry I'm in, you get to know everyone
but
without
like
fail.
but you get yourself out and about. That's how you know everyone. Do you know what I mean? You're busy, mate. You're busy.
I am, but honestly, it is interesting, though. But it's sad when you see people going back because you know they wanted to stay, but if you, and there is a common denominator. The people that leave, it's all for the same reasons. And if you look at them, they went out and partied too much.
I think the thing is, especially like some of the ones maybe with like sometimes it could be family reasons or the kids didn't settle or the wife missed their family. You get it, but I reckon majority would be that someone's just come, not got their head down enough, and annoyingly, if you miss the boat, it sails off without you, and you'll get left behind, wouldn't you? Let's be clear, you know. So
I mean, you were lucky. It's going back to the accounts. Like you came in when corporation tax had just been introduced.
There's a need, isn't there?
There
you know
was such a need, a huge need, and most people that moved over, and a majority of people did in COVID. There was so many opportunities, but you'll see yourself, and we've spoken about it before. People now are struggling to get jobs in Dubai because everyone wants to move here, and now the process of hiring people and firing people is a headache at times. But we always forget, if you're trying to move to the UK or the US and get a visa, it can be even tougher than coming to Dubai.
I think, can you even get one in the US? Not easily in any
Not at all.
Not at all. Not
at
one
all.
bit. You know?
And I think, to be honest, with the way
realistically,
Dubai's
do you
going,
think everyone here, anyone could actually get a visa in Dubai? Anyone, realistically, couldn't they? Really?
There's always
it just comes with a
somewhere
cost,
around
granted, but you can get one.
But we were laughing about it, that some people don't even think that there is a cost to getting a visa. They think they're just going to get granted it.
Feels that easy, Jesus.
No, genuinely, I'm like, have you left your head in the UK? It's not everything for free.
Because if everyone thought it was for free, then imagine what the roads would be like then. There'd be another maze.
They're the only bad thing of Dubai.
That's
right
the
now.
only more and more flyovers, mate. Just keep throwing them in, innit?
Do you know what? My mum couldn't believe it. She was here May. She came back in October. And she was out again last week. She couldn't believe how fast the flyover. She was like, Hannah, every time I come, there's a new road.
Fair play to them. They need to, though. Let's be honest, though. They do need to. Like, it's carnage to get places at the minute. On Halloween, I was leaving the marina, and I was going over to see our pals over in Dubai Hills, where your offices are. And literally, after about an hour and 20 minutes, she gave up. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, literally, it was just absolute carnage.
I mean, do you know the crazy thing is, and we've spoken about it a lot in real estate, in the past, people would buy a house and travel. They'd live in Arabian ranches and work in the IFC, and it was no bother at all. But now the roads have become so busy, and you have to think, from our office space, you've been to Strada, you can see the top of the Dubai and the end of Dubai. It goes basically from the Burj Khalifa to Marina Tower. If you see like the DMCC, that's it. That's you done. And you forget how many and how dense all these towers and everyone lives, so you can see why the roads are busy. But obviously I say to anyone that's moving, and if they're like, oh, where should I buy? I'm like, well, where do you work? Do you work from home or do you work in an office? Because be as close to that office as possible. And I'm sure that will change when all the subways and metros and everything open. But right now, if you want to sit in traffic every day, you're going to have a day.
Yeah. It just ruins your day.
It does.
Do you know what I mean?
Because you
might
get the
even
worst
prefer to live in
drivers.
England and do that. Mate, I wouldn't go that extreme.
Could you imagine? I mean, at least it's sunshine. You can watch all the drivers. It's a bit of comedy.
No, just have a motor convertible.
It's crazy though. It's really crazy. And do you know what? It's mad, and you'll know it yourself how reactive Dubai are when people say this is enough, we don't want to do this, or you need to change it. It's nice to be within a government that just react. They react on every single level.
They don't hang around the government.
No, they don't.
That's why I think things just change so much. 1 minute it's this, 1 minute it's that, and that's why it's crazy, but it's amazing.
So crazy.
You know?
And tell me, that's a really interesting point. We're obviously both in similar industries. I used to do a lot more business formations than I do now. I'm very much focused on real estate. But you'll be in accounts, and it's interesting. When I tell people, I'll tell you something now, this is what it is today, maybe the next week, but that could change in 2 weeks. So if you want this visa, get it now. It could change in price. It could change requirements. People don't believe me. But it'll be interesting now to hear what changes in accounts that fast.
The way I think is, end of the day, I think the thing that will change here is at the moment, obviously I don't want to do boring stuff for the sake of this. It'd be silly boring, but corp tax is at, say, 9%, right? In a few years, it might be 5, it might be 15. But the one thing what I feel like I've helped a lot of people with, there's something called small business relief. I don't want to get boring, but basically any business here that turns over less than 3 million won't pay corporation tax.
Really?
Yeah,
Wait, you need to speak about this more, because I'm sure a lot of people that come to Dubai...
I tell everyone, don't worry about it, you might have been, but
What
no,
is
so
it?
basically, obviously all the businesses here, like for example, if your business turns over less than 3 million AED...
Right, so that's what, 600...
Say 600,000 quid for argument's sake, even if your profit, say your turnover was 2.9 and your profit was 2.7, even though that's well above the 375, you still won't pay 9% corp tax,
That's so good, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so that's why people say to me, oh, all right, well, what happens when that goes? I'm going, well, how do you know it will go? They might they might keep it, but put the threshold down. They might keep it, but it's the unknown, isn't it? But that will be something, that will 100% change, whether it gets scrapped or it gets kept or there's movement, so... and once again, we're just going to have to learn to navigate through that to ensure we're doing the best job that I'm doing, I suppose, the best job I can be.
But I mean, do you know what? I think people in Dubai are actually okay. And as I've said, there's been so many big corporations now establishing here, which... in every aspect, it's going to put property prices up. It's going to bring a lot more jobs, etc. There's a lot of things that this is going to bring that are good. But I think at the end of the day, people don't mind paying tax because they see that things here change and infrastructure change and everything. I think everyone's kind of ready and being like, there probably is going to be a personal income tax. But everyone's like, I don't care.
Yeah, but until it is, it ain't a problem either way. And until there isn't, also, just keep taking a salary because there's no income tax anyway, But think, even if it was 9% corp tax and I got hit with 9% on everything I earn, fuck me, I'll take that all day long because I was paying 60 about 2 years ago. So that's the way I see it. So happy days.
And what are you finding? Because I know a majority of the clients that I pass to and we speak to, what are you finding that are the biggest struggles from businesses moving from the UK coming to Dubai? What are you seeing as their biggest struggles when it comes to accounts and moving all the money?
Foreign exchange sometimes, sometimes they might have dealt with their clients in the UK. Well, I don't want to pay a Dubai company. Do you see what I mean? But obviously there's solutions for that as well. I've got solutions for that myself. But, maybe sometimes your client's paying you or your money getting lost in transit, money taking longer to land. Hang on a minute, well, why's my money not landed? I've got to pay my school fees tomorrow. That's something that I see people have a lot of headaches with. I think banks here ain't easy. Let's be clear on that,
Not at all. I think I get asked weekly, can I have a bank account without an Emirates ID? More or less the answer is virtually no.
Absolutely
unless you can find a pass, you're going to have to pay for a visa. And I think that's the thing people struggle with, that they're used to going to UK, having a passport, being able to get and you have to think of Dubai now like America. You couldn't go to America and just open up a passport, like a bank.
At the end of the day, the way I see it is if they allowed you just to have a company and open up a bank, they're not stupid because the government are going to want you to pay for a visa and pay for an Emirates ID. So you can't get a bank without an Emirates ID. So you're going to have to go and get one then, aren't you? As simple as that. But I call it we owe, some people call it why. That popped up, that made banking easy for a while. But the problem is everyone then flipped to that bank. If that's a good thing or not, I don't know, because then that means that bank's going to have the same problems the other ones do. I've been quite lucky. I've not had a bank. Have you had a bank shut on you?
No, I've been absolutely fine. But I've heard some people, legit, we'll go back to it.
Let's keep touching that.
But no, I've been absolutely fine. But I get a lot of my businesses that have helped that are doing a big transactions or big payments, they're the ones. But I think it happens in the UK as well.
Yeah, of course
you
it
actually
does.
get a better leeway here than you would in the UK.
I don't think it's the problem. But I still know a lot of people that have had it shut, but there'd be a reason for that 9 times out of 10. I just think the main problem is literally getting one open.
No, genuinely. It's the hardest part.
A few years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely got easier.
Joke, mate, like.
It would be, I would say to people, you'll get your Emirates ID in 2 weeks. Bank, 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
I'm like, 6 months. Always for that in 6 months.
Yeah. My one was, I felt like actually by the time I was actually renewing my trade licence after 1 year, I still didn't have the bank I needed. I was just like, right, this is a nightmare.
People forget that the UK gets everything's gone. You don't see checks anymore. You don't see cash. Here, cash, checks is still very much in the mix, and it's still very much prominent. I think if you rent properties now, it's still really hard to even get something direct debit. They're like, no, we want checks.
Yeah, direct debit, it'd be out. I don't know why there isn't direct debit. Same as on your DWAR bills. Do you know what I mean? I just think, why would they not want you to pay that?
But you can start clicking options. Like, I've seen the options now pop up. DWA's not, but I know for like your internet do and whatnot, you've started. Because I used to you get so many notifications, especially if you do real estate or you have your own business. Everyone uses WhatsApp here. No one really uses email. So think of how clogged up an email is in the UK. Look at that extra bloody WhatsApp.
I don't even get anxiety, but my WhatsApp's starting to give it to me. Do you know what I mean?
I've got 2 WhatsApps, one personal, one private. Both of them have got over 1,000 messages unread.
Oh, mate, yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, sometimes you just go read all and then start again. No, I've got 2 WhatsApps. One was personal, one was business. But actually, annoyingly, I've got 2 business now. Okay. So I'm actually going to probably go and get a personal one. I'm thinking about getting it. I'm not doing anything this weekend. We had a lot of visits recently. Yeah. I'm going to go and get another phone. I'm going to take out another contract. And that will actually be personal. And I may not even give it to anyone. It was just so I have to be on it and it don't go off. Not even the family. I'm not even going to give them the number.
But honestly, it's crazy. Like, I had to buy another phone last week because my WhatsApp storage, and I had like 250 gig WhatsApp storage from both of them, had clogged it all up. Then my WhatsApp, people must think I'm pulling their leg, but I'm like, sorry, my WhatsApp went together. I'm like, Hannah, you said that 2 weeks ago. I was like, anytime I open it and it's too many messages, just go, sorry, you have to re-download it. Sorry, it wasn't backed up since July. Let me try it again. It's crazy.
It's crazy, mate. The thing is, it's
nuts.
Literally, it just don't stop, does it, your phone? No. To be fair, when you feel, but then imagine if it wasn't. Imagine if you weren't getting inquiries, you know, and you wasn't getting messages. That would be a much more bigger problem. Let's be clear. Sometimes you think, I just want this to stop going off. You know what I mean? But you'd be an idiot by saying that. You just need a bit of respite sometimes. That's when you have to just. The thing is, I always think I'm going to turn it off, put on airplane mode just for a few hours. But I'm thinking in my head, what's going on that phone? I'll go and take it out the drawer after 10 minutes and jump straight back on it.
I think everyone in Dubai is just so. Like, I'm sure you've seen this. In the UK, you're very much like, I'm done work. Yeah. See you Monday, can't be arsed. But I think here, work and pleasure and business life and like your friends become your work colleagues, so the people you do business, but it doesn't stop, whether you're playing paddle in the morning or it does not stop, because everyone just is so, and it's like such an amazing thing of Dubai, everyone's so collaborative. But what that means is there's no bloody stop.
You entwine, didn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, like you said, your clients become your mates. Do you know what I mean? Or your mates then become your clients, or whatever it is. Like you said, staff. Obviously, I said staff, colleagues, whatever. You know, obviously, but that's amazing, though, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? To be fair, you know, everyone's out to help each other, and that's what I love about this place. I think people go out of their way to help you. Yeah. Where else does that realistically happen? I've never seen anywhere else that's happened where I've lived or been, you know.
100%. And do you know what's really interesting? And I've laughed about it with a few people. In the UK, you would never know what your friend's making. You would never know what they're paying. You never know where they're going on holiday. It's all hush-hush until it happens. In Dubai, people celebrate other people's wins. And it's so abundantly done. It's so like, oh my God, fucking amazing. Like, get another client, here's more. They're not like, oh, well, he's had 10 clients.
There's nothing to be ashamed of, innit? I think at the end of the day, like, whether it's luck or it's hard work, either way, good luck to you, mate. Look, if someone smashes their life out of it, just take me along on the ride with you, or I'll stop working myself.
Enjoy the journey. You've got the next meal, darling.
I know how much you earn. I ain't paying for shit no more. Do you know what I mean?
But it's an interesting thing, and it's an interesting way that Dubai's kind of built their full culture on collaboration. And it's nowhere, you're right, nowhere else in the world saying that. And that's probably why you have phone calls in the UK which are so negative. And you come here and everyone's like, been up since 5 o'clock, seen the sunrise and everything else.
I think the way it's marketed as well, say on real estate, blah, 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 just sold a property for X. It's if someone could be bothered, I wouldn't bother, but like, they're going to know what an average agent fee is and what someone would go. Some people would go and work that stuff out. So if you're going to bang that on the net, people are going to know what you earn anyway. So you might as well just generally tell everyone. Do you know what I mean? But
I think that is the thing in Dubai. Everyone is very much open. But I think it's a mindset. It's a full mindset shift in Dubai that everyone's like, well, there's enough for everyone. And I think that's the reason everyone does so well, because no one is scared of anyone stealing anything. Like, let's be serious, we're in the same industry. I keep like, don't give any account clients to Stuart, because he could also do company formation. But at the end of the day, why would I do that?
It'd be idiotic, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? And also, at the end of the day, then you lose a power over business, which is idiotic in its own right. But not only that, before you know it, that guy's a snake. And then, as you said, it's small. Then, do you know what I mean? If someone, imagine you're in real estate and you're just snaking other people's clients and deals. I reckon, I don't know, I'm not in your game, but I'm saying I reckon your career would end pretty quick.
And do you know
what I mean?
I say it to people all the time, and it's going back to how small Dubai is. When you bring over your business to Dubai, just take, even if you're the best businessman in the UK, don't come here with that, because Dubai is the smallest place ever. And if I see you next Tuesday, or if you're snaking, or if you come back with maybe the UK mentality, who knows where it comes from, you'll not survive in Dubai. And it eats you up and spits you out, because everyone just like, nah, don't do business with them.
You're done, aren't you?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You're fully done, because everyone, I would even say everyone has a big mouth here, but everyone's just wants to talk. In a good way or a bad way, I guess it's just outline the elephant in the room. People will say it, and they'll not be like, they'll be like, I just know this, it's not my opinion, take it how it is. But people just outline what they know.
It's just stating your opinion, isn't it? You're fully entitled to state your opinion, isn't you? You know, so
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And just as a roundup, what's been your biggest lesson that you've learned since moving to Dubai?
That's a tough one, that.
And what have you learned? If you look back in the 2 years and reflect, like, what's been your biggest lesson?
I just think, to be fair, not going deep, whatever, but just don't ever take things for granted. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, end of the day, no matter how well you do, I'm not saying I've done that well. I don't think I necessarily have, but just keep your feet on the ground. And I think one other thing I did, I've done a lot of favours since I've been here. When everyone was trying to scaremonger people, you've got to register for corp tax by the 31st of May, you're going to get a 10,000 dirham fine. We're going to charge you 2,000 dirham. Scaremongering into earning money. I've done 750, 800 corp tax registrations for free. Ain't about earning money all the time. It's about doing nice things and being genuine. And that's the thing. I just think people here, some people end up thinking they'll get above themselves or above their station. I just think, keep your feet on the ground, be kind, polite, friendly and genuine. And that's what I think, just remember who you are or where you come from. And that's what I think's the most important thing.
Do you know what? Before we finish, I want to touch on that, because a lot of people think it's going back to running before you walk. In Dubai, you have to do a lot of work for free before you can actually do it. And whether that be real estate, running around doing viewings and not making a sale, or whether it be accounts, or whether it be doing business and just giving free advice and calls, you cannot think you're coming into a place so small in Dubai and charging absolute extortionate. No, it's not happening. You have to give a lot of work for free, and I think that's where a lot of people shit themselves, because they don't realise how much running around and work and help people do for free in Dubai.
But my pal was saying to me, Stuart, work out the maths on that. Are you crazy? Do you know what I mean? You could have just gone and earned 2 million dirhams if you charged the going rate, by the way. Everyone else was charging it. I will earn that 2 million dirhams, trust me. It's just going to take me longer. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way I see it.
It's amazing. But thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure, man. Really so sorry it took me so long.
It's been great, though. You're looking gorgeous.